Hi Pilgrims, and welcome to Lodging Part 2. This is going to be mostly photos and a little bit of chatter, so I'm just going to talk my way through it and show you photos, and if you have any questions you can post them down at the bottom. Oops, I better turn that light out. So the first photo I want to show you is just of a private in Santiago. I'm not sure even where this is. This was quite a number of years ago, but this is pretty much what you can expect if you order 2 twin beds in a private in any city along the way. The next picture is of Roncesvalles, the old albergue, where you are all just crowded in so tight that I was sleeping next to some guy that I didn't even know. Joe was in the bunk bed below me, and I could actually feel his breath on my face. I didn't like that at all. Now the albergue is much nicer, and I'll post a photo of the new albergue too. The Zuberry Municipal, not one of my favorites. I've tried staying there several times. I often find it dirty. I find the bathrooms really dirty. One nice thing is you can, or at least in the past, you're able to camp out in their yard. So if you're a camper, that's a good place to go. These aren't in any particular order, by the way. They're just photos that I found that I'm going to put up here. In Zuberry, I would book a private. There's a place called Palo something. I can't remember. It's called Hazel Tree. But they have nice places. That's a nice place to stay. But I just don't like the municipal in Zuberry. Trinidad de Ar is a really nice place to stay. When we were there, it was run by an order of monks, but I think it's changed hands. I'm not sure who runs it now, but I really enjoyed staying there. At the time I stayed, the dorms had female dorms and male dorms, and then they had a special dorm for married people where Joe and I stayed, but I don't think they have that anymore. I don't know. But I would definitely stay there and avoid the crowds in Pamplona. Uterga, I just wanted to show you, this was a little 2-bed albergue at Uterga. It's no longer open, but it was kind of sweet because this gal that you see here had the bottom bunk, so I took the top bunk, and then Joe just pulled a pad out on the floor, so 3 of us filled that little albergue. Had a little shower, not real clean, but fun, and a wash station out back, so that was a fun place to stay. St. Jean Pied de Port, I don't remember the name of this albergue, but a lot of these gîtes look very much like this in St. Jean Pied de Port. They're very clean, usually anywhere from 4 to 10 beds to a room. I've stayed in Gîte Maquila. I really like it. I've stayed in Gîte Compostela, which is a little more on the modest side, but very, very clean and very nice and close in. But any of the places in St. Jean Pied de Port are good to stay in. The next photo is of dinner with a priest at the parochial in Viana. If you can get into a parochial at least once on your Camino, count yourself lucky because they're really a nice experience. Next photo is Sahagún Albergue. I don't really like that albergue. It's too big. They don't have closing hours, so drunk young people come in at all hours, waking people up. And then one night that I stayed there, they puked all over the bathroom floor, and it was just a nightmare. People got into fights because they were waking everybody up. It's just too big. There's too many people in one room. And Sahagún is a place where they can stay out and come in at 3 in the morning. So if you're getting up at 6 or 7 to walk, too bad. I just don't care for it. This next picture is of the old Burgos albergue. It used to be in a park. It's no longer there. They have a brand new one now. And I haven't stayed in the new one, but I bet it's nice. The next photo is Casa Morgade. It's a private after Sarria. It's between Sarria and Puerto Marin, and it's really a wonderful place to stay, and their food is excellent. Let's see. Next is just another typical twin room. Next is my breakfast in bed at the Parador in Santo Domingo del Calzada. Boy, that was a treat. I got lots of hot baths and breakfast in bed, and then I got home and got the bill, and it was over $300, but it was worth it. The next one's a little private albergue in Espinosa. Gosh, I can't remember the name of it. The fella that ran it, his name was Pepe, which was funny because Joe was going by Pepe also. I don't remember the name of that, but I will look it up and make a note below. But he has 2 or 3 bedrooms, and each bedroom has 3 or 4 beds, and it's really quite a nice place to stay. I really enjoyed it. The next photo is a family-style dinner at San Anton. I love San Anton. There's no hot water, no electricity. They won't let you in till about 2 in the afternoon, but oh, what a treat it is to stay there. It's so dark. Since there's no lights, you can see a million stars in the sky, and it's just a wonderful place to stay. They'll feed you. They'll feed you a family-style dinner, and it's donativo, so please give them a generous donation. The next one is on the Via de Plata, and that's Guyena Albergue. It was okay. It was like in a sports building. The next one is at Costa Blanco, and that's also on the Via de la Plata. And that one I actually slept upstairs on the roof under the stars, which was nice. The next one is also on the Via de la Plata, and it was a time where we got halfway through the big park at the beginning and ran out of water, and so we slept here overnight out under the stars. It was quite a nice night. The next picture is of a bathtub. Some of the places have these little teeny tiny bathtubs where you could just get in and sit with your knees up around you, but oh my God, it's so nice to have a bathtub to soak in after a long day of walking. Albergue Refugio de Jesus at Vilar de Mazarif is a wonderful place to stay. They have a swimming pool, which is nice in the summertime. And when the weather's good, you can sleep out on the balcony on these mats. I just love it. They also have private rooms and dorm rooms. The Municipal in Molina Seca, I found bed bugs here, and so the only time I've slept here, I went outside and slept outside, and it was a summertime or warm weather. I don't remember the exact time of year. Guaselmo in Rabanal del Camino is a really wonderful albergue run by a confraternity, I believe. They do not take reservations. They do not take you if you use backpack transport, but they're a wonderful place to stay. They have a nice kitchen, and there's a little marketplace in Rabanal where you can buy food and cook it. The next photo is Mon Harin. This is one of my favorites. I love Mon Harin. No electricity, no running water, and the beds are scarily dirty, but it's the best experience I think I ever had on the Camino. So don't be afraid. If you're adventurous, stay at Mon Harin. This is where the Templars do a little ritual in the evening, and I promise you, you'll enjoy it. The next photo is of a quad room at Casa Margad, again back between Sarria and Puerto Marin. The next photo is Cacabello Municipal. Now here, there's 2 beds to a room. It's like a big area around the church, and each little cubby has 2 beds in it. I've stayed there a few times, and it's nice, but check for bed bugs when you go in, and if you find bed bugs in your little room, don't be afraid to go look for a different one. Just because one has them doesn't mean they all do, but I have seen bed bugs there more than once. The next picture is the Municipal at Sarria, and I actually don't mind the Municipal at Sarria, though it's very, very crowded. And there are so many wonderful places to stay in Sarria. I think probably I would skip the Municipal there, but if you have to stay there, it's not bad. Later, maybe I'll talk about some of the places in Sarria I've stayed. The next photo is a kitchen when it was new a few years ago at Puerto Marin Municipal. That's a very nice municipal. Puerto Marin's a great village to visit. That's where they took the whole village from down below and moved it up top because they dammed up the river. And when you walk over the bridge, if you look down and don't get vertigo, you can see the remains of the village below you. This next picture, I think, is, it was like a really cool little hobbit house in El Real de la Jara Municipal. This was on the Via de la Plata. I really enjoyed staying here. The next picture is Obanos, and I'll never stay there. The priest there was so rude. He was just mean. It was freezing, and he would not give us blankets. He told us we should have a sleeping bag. Well, we did have a sleeping bag, but it was so cold you could see your breath in there. And after about 20 people begged, he finally gave us blankets, but he wasn't very nice. I tried to use the kitchen to heat water for Coco, and he just glared at me like I was going to steal something. I will never stay there again, not ever. And maybe he was just having a bad day, but I can't recommend that place. Let's see, what else? Oh, I haven't stayed at this place, but I really thought it looked like a sweet, sweet place. It's in Mon Harin, and it's called Albergue Lorgori, I guess is how you say it. It looked really clean, really modern, and really fun. And I think if I ever walk alone on the Meseta, I will definitely stay there. Guyena Parochial, another great family-style dinner. They always give you a family-style dinner there, which is really nice. The next one is at Casa de la Abuela in Los Arcos. And this just shows you how I hang my laundry to get some privacy sometimes when I just feel like being alone. Next one is a triple room at the convent in Santo Domingo del Calzada. It was nice and clean. It was a good place to stay, but I about froze to death, and it was June. And Navarrete has this wonderful albergue called Albergue Peregrino. When you first walk into Navarrete, when you first see the signs that say you're coming into Navarrete, you'll see an arrow on the ground and it's going backwards, and you have to turn around and look. And when you turn around, then you can see the albergue off to your right. I love that place. It was really nice. But the other albergues in Navarrete are very nice too. San Nicolas. I love San Nicolas. This place only has 12 beds, so you need to get there and sit your butt down and wait. Get there early. It's run by an Italian confraternity. They feed you a lovely dinner. We used to have to pump water to wash our clothes. I understand that it's no longer that way, but we really enjoyed staying there, and I've stayed there more than once. Again, no electricity, no. They have running water. They probably have running water now, but at the time we had to pump water, but no electricity. So dinner was by candlelight, and just a really sweet place. They did a little foot washing ceremony. Just a wonderful place to stay. The next picture is on the way up to Osobrero, before you get to Osobrero, and it's Laguna de Castilla, La Escuela Albergue. I really enjoyed staying at this place. I don't like the albergue at Osobrero. It's huge. They've got like 100 beds in one room, and it's cold, and you can't cook. You can cook there, but they don't give you any pots and pans or anything to cook with. I just don't like it. And so usually what I do is I'll sleep before I get to Osobrero. Then I wake up in the morning, go through Osobrero, and have breakfast there, and then just keep on walking through. It's definitely worth stopping to see the church and to see the buildings, which have thatched roofs and are really nice. But as far as staying there, unless you can get a private room somewhere, I would not stay in the albergue there. Here's what you can expect at Gragnon or any parochial refuge, these little mats on the floor. And I know it doesn't look great, but they really are great parochials. They almost always do a church service or a pilgrim mass or some kind of singing or something. They almost always do a dinner. It's just a sweet, sweet experience. If you're going to walk the Camino, at least once, stay in one of these parochials. Let's see. The next one is Pension Sarasate in Pamplona. It's more of an upscale pension. The next one is Pension Arca Pino in Pedruzo. This is a very nice one. And the one next to it, Maribel, is also very nice. She, I think, has upgraded all of her rooms to be en suite. So you get a private bathroom with your room there. I don't order her dinner or her breakfast. There's better breakfast on the way to Santiago next morning. I don't order her breakfast. There's also a market in Pedruzo where you can buy picnic food, and there's a couple of really good restaurants. And the next picture is San Martin Penario. This is a pilgrim room at San Martin Penario. You can't book this on booking.com. You have to email them and ask them to book your room. They're quite inexpensive. They're very modest but clean. They have a tiny shower, and they include a buffet breakfast in the morning, so they're worth staying there. The next picture is Albergue Piedra in Villa Franca, and this is a private room. They also have an albergue with several beds in their room. This is one of their private rooms. I love that little place. Casa Calleja in Castaneda has some wonderful rooms. It's an old farmhouse that belonged to her grandmother, and they've turned what used to be the barn into a room, and then they have a little casita next. And there's a wonderful place to eat called Albergue Santiago. I've also stayed there right when you turn off to go to La Calleja. And they have the best grilled rib dinner on the Camino. The next two are apartments. Apartamentos Taristicos Guillermo in Palos del Rey has wonderful rooms, and his apartments are like, I think they're 120 this season to sleep 8 people. They have a nice kitchen. They have washing machines, 2 bathrooms, just really, really nice, really convenient to the markets in town. And then Apartamentos Andia and Estella. Most of the apartments you rent are going to look like these two. They're going to be upscale, and they're going to have a washing machine and a kitchen. Other places I've stayed, but I don't have a photo here, are Apartamentos Juramonde in both Los Arcos and Estella. So apartments are really a good value if you get a group of pilgrims together. Apartamentos Olga in Pamplona, they're a little bit past Old Town, but they're a good option for when you're walking back through Pamplona, because then you're on the other side of Old Town, and in the morning you kind of beat all the other pilgrims out of town. But there are a lot of apartments in Pamplona that you can book. So this will give you an idea of what the places look like. It's just a small spatter of photos because there are tons and tons of places to stay. But this is kind of what you have to look forward to. And if you have any questions, please ask them in the Facebook forum. And I hope this has helped someone. Buen camino.